I'm being a bit lazy. I've got the tripod out rather than holding you with my hand because it actually tends to ache after a while. And that's kind of the theme of my day today. So I am officially 29 weeks today. But I thought I'd better give you another 28-week update because I had a midwife appointment, but I had the midwife appointment on Thursday, so I was 28 weeks plus 5. Yeah, and then you convert over obviously to the next week on the 7th day. So it was only 2 days ago, so really haven't missed a lot. It's just that I'm now officially in my 29th week. And I've been so tired. Really, really tired. It might well have been that it's just been a really busy week. It's been very, very busy at work. Like quite high pressured busy this week, which for anyone who knows me would know, actually I've been in my element work-wise. This is exactly what I'm about. But it has been a very stressful and pressured week, and that's not likely to change next week. It's also been quite a busy week. So I had my baby yoga on Wednesday as normal. It was my last session because I only go on for 6 weeks. And I was really gutted to go because you kind of, at the beginning of each class, you all do an update of how your week's been. But obviously you kind of get to know all the other girls as well. And you think, oh, and some of them are a lot further along than me. Some of them are about the same as me. So there's 2. So we've kind of, we've kind of got a little group of 3, which is really nice. And I've been messaging. But yeah, some of the others you think, oh God, have they had the baby yet? Like, and am I ever even gonna know now? Which is strange. And I really do think that has helped a lot with my pubic pain and the hips. And Debbie, the leader, is just fantastic. If there is one thing I could recommend to any pregnant woman, it would be to do the pregnancy yoga. And I don't even know whether they'd all be as good as ours, because to be honest I think Debbie makes it. She is a fountain of all knowledge. She really knows women's health inside out. Like, she isn't a midwife, never claims to be, and she's not medical, and again she never claims to be. However, she does know a lot about how women's bodies are built and formed, and what happens during labour, and how you can work with that and that kind of thing. And she really has been a great source of support for any kind of worries or niggles or, oh my God, this happened, what's this? Yeah, and some of the techniques that she has taught us through have been great. There was one the other week where we can do some positions to try and get your baby out of a breech position. And everyone knows that my baby doesn't conform, which has been a slight niggle in the back of my head, that when it actually gets to the time, that is really the time when I need it to behave. Like, really need it to behave. But it did later on that evening, although it'd been kind of playing up throughout the whole class as per normal, later on that evening it did start really kicking me in the leg, in the ribs even, and it seemed to be a lot of pressure pushing down, so it must have turned. So that just goes to show those movements must have been working. So yeah, so that was Wednesday, really, really sad. Thursday, should have had my second lot of hypnobirthing classes, but I didn't go because I had a second baby shower, which was lovely. There's another girl at work who is also pregnant. She's 3 weeks ahead of me, called Robin. So again, it's been really, really nice to be on a pregnancy journey, and she's a first time mum too. So, it's nice to do the journey together. And work through us a joint baby shower, which was lovely. So we all went for a meal, and again I got some lovely little bits, which I'll insert a little photograph here. So yeah, no, it was really, really nice. Bambina's really, really spoiled. And it's starting to hammer home. Oh my God, it is actually getting a lot closer now. And so that's the other kind of thing what I've been doing today. So I've been home all day, pretty much just pottering around the house, but I've actually felt really busy. I was just trying to think, when Mark comes home, what am I going to say I've done all day? But I've actually been really, really busy, although it doesn't feel like it, but it's just housework, literally. And they all talk about the nesting syndrome, but I think I literally had that from the word go, because I cleared out the garage when I was 6 weeks pregnant. Completely gutted it and chucked out a whole load of stuff. Yeah, and I was only 6 weeks gone at that point. Was it 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that? It wasn't even the 12-week mark. But yeah, today hoovered, polished, scrubbed the bathroom to the inch of its life, redone all the beds, redone all the washing. Like nothing phenomenal, but it's just like sorting out wardrobes. And we're quite lucky in some of our rooms. We've got quite deep wardrobes with high up storage, which is really easy to waste, because particularly being vertically challenged like myself, I can't always get up there, or you tend to just shove stuff and it sits at the front rather than making the most of the room at the back. So I was just trying to sort out those in both my stepdaughters and the spare room, and kind of start sorting through the nursery to get it ready to kind of empty, because everything we've been buying, obviously we've been putting in the nursery, and I've been gradually starting to put some stuff away into the wardrobe now, which is really exciting. We've got a few blankets and things, so trying to pick where those blankets are going to go. Are they going to go in the car seat? Are they going to go in the pram? Are they, in the crib, the Moses basket, the cot, that kind of thing. And start trying to simplify it so that we can actually pull it out of the room in perhaps a week or so's time to start decorating the nursery. And then it will feel really, really real. The pram arrived on Monday, but I'm going to do a whole separate video on that. But that's a bit of a relief. So the baby has now got his own wheels, and that is being stored at my mother-in-law's, or mother and father-in-law's, because it's actually unlucky to have it in your house. So we did go for the Mamas and Papas Ocaro, 4-piece system. 4-piece system, yes, yeah. So you've got a carry cot, the push chair, and then we've got a separate maxi cozy car seat, because I decided to go for a maxi cozy car seat rather than a Mamas and Papas car seat after reading several reviews. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with a Mamas and Papas one, it's just personal choice, and I have my reasons for that. And I'll go through that when I do a separate video on it for anyone who is interested. And we've also then got a separate Isofix base. So that then means we only need the 4-piece system. But yeah, it's navy blue and it's beautiful. And then the only other thing that has happened this week was my 28-week midwife appointment, which went absolutely fine. We talked through my pelvis problems again, which has just been really, really frustrating, because I felt like I was finally getting somewhere after New York. I had those 3 or 4 days where I felt absolutely amazing, as I told you last video. But then following which I was starting to get more painful again after then going back to work and walking less. And it may well have also been because obviously the pubic bone will then start to move again, which is why the physio had to reset it. Now, every time the physio resets it, they always say it'll be sore and tender for at least 3 to 4 days. Well, it's now day 8, and I'm still in quite a bit of pain. But this happened last time, so just trying to stick with it. So it's lots of baths, and that probably doesn't help with the tiredness then as well, because it really does hurt a lot in bed at night. And it's really hard to explain, but it's literally any time you tense your legs around the groin area, which if you say that, everyone goes, oh, well, that's not a lot, is it? You do it more than you know. You tense every time, like it's basically every time you brace your core to move your body, and you do that naturally, whoever you are. So it's every time you get in and out of a chair, it's every time you, particularly when you get in and out of a car, because also parting your legs, you have to try, when you've got this, you've got to try and walk like a mermaid. That's the only way that the physio keeps hammering in and the yoga instructor keeps hammering in. You have got to be a mermaid. You've got to keep your legs as close together at all times, so when you walk, but yeah, like when you're getting out of a car and you spread your legs just to get out and step out, that is excruciating. And rolling over at night is one of my worst. So next time you roll over in bed, pay attention to what you're doing with your legs, and then you might get like, oh yeah, she said that this hurts when this happens. Oh, no wonder it hurts. Because not only do you brace yourself naturally anyway, you spread your legs because you try and lead with one leg. So what I now have to do is I have to put my feet flat on the bed so they're in a bent angle. So this is every time I want to move in bed during the night. You have to place, bring your knees up so your feet are then flat on the floor. Raise my bum, I guess, really. Kind of clench myself to try and keep everything together, and then gradually shift over. You're not allowed to sleep on your back now at all, because there's actually a vein that runs through the middle of your body, that if you're laying on your back, the baby can then lay on the vein, or as an artery, something like that, whereby it then reduces oxygen to the mum quite significantly, which that's not too big a deal because we're old enough to know when our breathing is slowing down, and our bodies would then make you move. So that's not too big a deal. However, that also then stops the oxygen to the child, to the baby, if they end up lying on that. And as a baby, they obviously haven't learnt that whole danger scenario. And if you then get to a point where you then wake up, it could be too late for the baby, so that can result in stillbirth. So they are really hammering it home now that you're not allowed to sleep on your back. So when you're rolling over, bear in mind you've got to lay on your left all the time now. If I do need to shift position and just have a quick break and lay on my right for a bit, it's not just to the middle that I've then got to go. I've then got to go again to the other side. But we talked through that with the midwives, which there wasn't the greatest outcome because there's not really a lot they can do. It's just updating my notes. They took some more bloods just to make sure that everything is okay in terms of glucose levels and my blood types and things like that. Excuse me, I've got a hot chocolate. Still not drinking the tea, can't do it. And then they also, for the first time, we listened to the baby's heartbeat. Really, really strong heartbeat. It was every time. Did its normal thing. Moved off as soon as they got it. But she's, like, my midwife has obviously managed to fathom it right by now. And then they measured me, which was the first time that they had done that. Really, really excited. However, how it then works, so it is based on the mother's weight and height. So apparently this is meant to be a lot more accurate, and it's also based on if particularly if you've had previous pregnancies, it's then based on your previous kind of progress as well, so that you might just be like naturally have tiny babies, there's nothing to worry about, and again you might naturally have big babies. But because I've not had a baby before, mine has actually been predicted and based on the measurements of my scan, which was interesting. I didn't even know any of this was in there. So you have kind of a graph and they plot you along, so we'll see what happens. But the interesting thing was, I don't know if you can see, I'm actually at the very top of that measurement scan. Ah. So they've actually, according to this graph, they are predicting that I will have an 8-pound baby, which is alarming enough. However, I've actually measured at the upper end of that. So if the baby carries on that kind of line, the upper line, it will actually be a 9-pound baby. However, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my lord, oh no, have you seen the size of me? I cannot be having a 9-pounder. No way, I'm not going to get that out. But she said, look, don't worry, it's your first ever measurement. It's literally done by a tape measure, so it's not that scientific really. There's loads of margins for error. And we'll just see how kind of the growth goes throughout the rest of the weeks. Because if it's always consistently at the top, then okay, we'll think about things then. But that's just the size of your bump. That's not necessarily the size of the baby. There could be a lot of fluid in there and still have a tiny, tiny baby. So that really, she wasn't worried about it in the slightest. I, on the other hand, was pretty concerned. But yeah, all in all, my midwife appointments now ramp up because I'm in the 3rd trimester. So officially in the final countdown now. So yeah, we've got 11 weeks officially to go. I've got it in my head it'll come early, but perhaps every mum says that. I don't know why, I just do. It's just really, really active and I can't imagine it wanting to stay in there any longer than it has to. But yeah, I've got nothing to base that on, really. But yeah, I'll see the midwife every couple of weeks now, so we'll keep an eye on that growth. I start my second lot of pregnancy yoga in not next week, the week after, because they've got a break for half term, so I'm going to carry on that. And obviously then we return to hypnobirthing again next week, and then in 2 weeks time we start our antenatal classes. So yeah, everything is really ramping up now, particularly with all the baby shower bits that are being hammered home. Some of the conversations, this is the other thing that the midwives were talking to me about, was breastfeeding. I am hoping to breastfeed, but I am not naive to the fact that it's not easy, and there are a lot of factors which can interrupt that and make that hard, and even impossible in some people. So I would really, really like to. That's what I'm aiming to do. But we talked about kind of breastfeeding and some of the signs of when a baby needs feeding, and not necessarily just when it's crying. There are other signs, and the fact that if I leave it till the baby is screaming for food, that actually it will be a lot harder to feed, because you need to calm down the baby first, but the baby's not going to want to calm down because it's going to be hungry and trying to tell you that. So yeah, they were talking me through some of the other signs, but they did say the antenatal class would also touch on this, so we'll see. But yeah, sorry, it's a hickledy-pickledy video, isn't it? But yeah, some of the other bits and bobs I got in at the baby shower were lots of kind of nappies and wipes, which are really, really handy. They're never going to be things that I'm not going to use. But also some, toiletry bits for me. And so packing our bags is going to be the next step, really. I was hoping to do it today, but there are a few more bits I want to get. And I think I'm going to sit down and properly make a list, and then I'll start packing it and things like that. But yeah, and then we can start getting them in the car, along with fitting the car seat in the car. So it's all ready to go as and when the time comes. Yes, you keeps kicking. So I'll just do a quick bump shot. So I have seemed to have significantly grown, as my growth chart can show. But other than that, then I'll let you go. So this is the bump from the side. A lot of the people are predicting a boy, I guess, because it does stick out quite far out to the front. If I lift up my jump, you may be able to see it a bit better. It does go out a lot further than my bust now, which I've never had before. From the front, I'm quite round, and it's rock solid. It's really, really hard. But yeah, so this is week 28/29, pretty much 29. And that's that really. But I will see you all next week. I think I'm going to probably try and do some weekly updates now, because I think these are just going to run away. And I'd like to stay on top of everything just in case the baby does come early. I don't want to leave things like for another week and then I end up missing it because the baby has then arrived, which is a possibility now. But all in all, other than feeling just quite tired and the pelvic pain, I'm actually feeling fine. Heartburn is coming to get me as a good one. I'm sucking Gaviscon sweets like they are going out of fashion. But hey ho, that is just one of them things. I'm finding that I'm wanting to take more time for myself. So normally I would never ever stay in all day. That would normally drive me absolutely insane. But I really wanted to, and I've really enjoyed being at home all day. So I think this is kind of a sign of things to come, really. I just need to start taking a bit more time for myself, because if I'm not feeling the best, then that's not going to do the baby any good either. But other than that, all good. And yeah, as per always, if you could hit like and subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. And then you can keep up to date with all these updates. But until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.